This video explains how weapons and targeting work in Phoenix. We'll cover every weapon, its hard-coded behavior, the units it can target, and how those rules affect combat on the ground and in space. On screen are the game's movement types, shown in the same order as in target.dat. Phoenix has renamed its weapons, but all 13 movement types still use the original modding infrastructure. Targeting has been made more consistent, allowing weapons and units to function in more situations while preserving meaningful class differences. The units are grouped into 4 shared targeting classes: Groundcraft, Large, Special. Special is divided into 2 subcategories: Covert and Underwater. The general rule is simple. If a weapon can target one unit in a shared targeting class, it can target every unit in that class. Special is the only exception. Phoenix has 9 weapons. These weapons are displayed in the following order to nearly match how they are represented in-game. It is important to understand the weapon behaviors and targeting data, of which the Phoenix should tell you using hover-on tooltips. Sights You Had is a good reminder to remember all the weapons, but a better one might be duchies or ditches. The final 4 weapons, Unorthodox, Heavy, Assault, and Destroy, allow cargo units to participate in space combat. Heavy, Assault, and Destroy can only be used in space. Cargo units aboard a carrier may participate in space combat if either they can survive in space without a mothership or they have at least one qualifying weapon. A unit only needs to meet one participation condition. Shared targeting classes determine which units are treated as equivalent targets. A weapon that can target one ground unit can target all ground units. Atmospheric and space fighters are targeted by the same weapons. Naval battleships are treated like starbases and dreadnoughts. Special remains divided between covert and underwater units. This targeting wheel shows every shared targeting class. Regardless of movement, behavior, or logistical rules, every unit belongs to one of these classes. Each weapon can target one or more classes, so the wheel is most useful when comparing weapon targeting with movement types. We'll begin with Citadel using a space battle. Our fleet faces one enemy dreadnought. Each of our stealth ships carries either infantry or a combat engineer, while the enemy dreadnought carries infantry. Citadel targets large and underwater units. In this battle, that means only capital and subcapital ships can be targeted. Being targetable is not the same as participating. Our stealth ships cannot deploy their cargo, while the enemy dreadnought can. Green indicates targetable units. Blue indicates participating units. We'll move our boarding units to a mothership that allows cargo participation. Neither infantry nor combat engineers can survive independently in space, so they still need a qualifying weapon. The infantry has Destroy and can participate. The combat engineer has none of the 4 qualifying weapons, so it cannot. We'll remove the engineer and the vulnerable stealth ships, then organize the remaining units by rank. All our units attack the enemy dreadnought. Our infantry participates because of its Destroy weapon. Without enemy infantry, the dreadnought targets our lowest-ranked unit, the Star Corvette. When enemy infantry returns, it receives a target first because it ranks below the dreadnought. Its Citadel attack targets our Corvette, shifting the dreadnought's attack to our dreadnought. The infantry can attack but cannot be targeted. It is skipped when receiving attacks, but not when assigning them. Targeting works the same way on planets. After landing, our force joins a naval battleship. Because our Star Dreadnought is a jump ship, it does not participate. After sorting by rank, All participating units target the enemy submarine. The submarine targets our lowest-ranked unit, the Star Corvette. Adding an enemy torpedo bomber changes target allocation. Our Citadel attack still cannot target the enemy torpedo bomber. Our units remain focused on the submarine. The submarine targets our Corvette first. The higher-ranked bomber then receives the next available target, attacking the battleship. Intercept is the simplest weapon. It targets craft and functions both in the atmosphere and in space. Atmospheric fighters and space fighters are therefore vulnerable to the same attack. Landing our starfighters changes nothing. They can fight alongside atmospheric aircraft, anti-air units, and capital ships. Anti-air units and star destroyers may contribute intercept attacks without being vulnerable to intercept themselves. Tactical is nearly the opposite of Citadel. It targets everything Citadel cannot. It is often a flexible, high-strength attack with low accuracy. Suppose our PTS cannon faces an enemy assault gun. We can protect the cannon by adding a lower-ranked atmospheric fighter. Tactical can target craft, so the assault gun wastes its attack on a target it is unlikely to hit. The enemy can counter this with a tracker legion. Its weak tactical attack receives the first target. Engage is one of the game's most common attacks. Most conventional ground units use it, and it also supports anti-spy and anti-submarine warfare. Our Corvette and infantry both attack the enemy infantry. Their infantry attacks ours. The dreadnoughts do not participate because they lack engage. Engage also targets both parts of the special category, covert and underwater. A gunship with engage can therefore attack both spies and submarines. Support is often used as a secondary attack. It can target ground and large units, but not special units. Here, infantry and capital ships are vulnerable to support. A covert unit could potentially participate, but could not be targeted. Engage or tactical would be needed to attack it. Our strategic bomber has a powerful but inaccurate support attack. Unlike engage, support cannot target covert or underwater units. However, it can target every large unit, including landed capital ships. Unorthodox is the only weapon capable of targeting every class. It uses resistance rather than armor. Heavy targets everything except special. It can attack fighters, infantry, battleships, and capital ships, but not assassins or submarines. Unlike other weapons, it is used in 3 situations: space-to-space combat, planetary bombardment, PTS fire. In the first example, a landed corvette and infantry occupy the same stack. Both can be targeted, but only the corvette can return fire with heavy. When we bombard another stack, nearby enemy stacks with heavy perform PTS retaliation. Bombardment lasts 1 combat round. The 2 nearby PTS stacks then fire twice each. If the enemy fighter and corvette are merged, the fighter receives its target first. This pushes the corvette's target upward through our rank order. PTS retaliation also applies during landings. When the enemy force is merged into one stack, its full targeting capacity becomes available. Assault uses the same targeting rules as heavy, but is limited to normal space combat. Destroy is also space only and targets only large units. The remainder of the video visualizes every weapon and its valid targeting classes. I hope this guide was useful. May the stars shine brightly upon you. Until next time.